Hello friends, welcome. If you're new here, welcome back. I am Vicky and you are with Grammy in the kitchen. We're going to make a delicious chicken pot pie. Not only are we going to make one to eat today and leftovers for tomorrow, but we're also going to make several to put in the freezer. So I have two regular glass Pyrex pie dishes, and I went ahead and went to the store and got this 3-pack cake pan. So whatever doesn't fit into my glass pie dishes, I'm going to put in these cake pans. They didn't have the aluminum pie pans, but that's okay because they're really small, and by the time you get the angles for the pie, it would have been a very small pot pie. So I decided to get cake pans because they're more square bottoms instead of like a pie pan. So first time using these, we're going to try them and see if we like it. Figured this would freeze very well, and there are 3. I don't know if I need 3, but we'll see. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. Aprons on, let's get going. So in the countertop roaster, I have 2 whole chickens with about 4 cups of water at the bottom. I do have some bay leaves in here. No salt, no pepper, no seasoning. Just going to let that cook in there, and then we're going to debone it, save those bones, and then we're going to turn this into a delicious chicken pot pie. I put 2 chickens in that roaster early this morning, and it's 4 hours later and they are done. I do have it turned off, but they're still in there. We're going to get those out in a bit, but in the meantime I thought I'd go ahead and make the pie crust. So this is not going to be a sweet pie crust. We're not going to put sugar in it because we're making chicken pot pie. But those 2 chickens should give me 4 pot pies. So I'm going to make enough dough for 4 pot pies. And now we're going to go ahead and grate our butter. I just have a bowl here. We're making a total of 4 double pie crusts. 1 double pie crust will take 4 ounces. These are 8-ounce bricks. These are 8-ounce bricks, so I have 2 here that we're going to grate up. That'll give us 4 double. That will give us 4 double crust. So for one recipe, it takes 2.5 cups of flour, and this is for a double crust pie crust. And I think I'm just going to do a half at a time. I think I'm going to do half at a time. So I'll make 2 crusts at one, and then I'll make 2 crusts again, just so it's not too big for me to be able to knead it out. And we need 2 teaspoons of salt, get that mixed in. I have a kitchen scale. I'm tearing it out with the bowl and the flour so I can measure out 8 ounces of the butter. Right, that is 8 ounces. We'll put this back in the refrigerator. Now we're going to mix the butter in with the flour, get it all well coated. And we're going to need to start off with 8 tablespoons of water. It's 4 tablespoons per one recipe. I do have this doubled. Cold water. I put it in the refrigerator. We're going to mix this up until we get it all blended. Eventually we're going to have to go in here with our hands. It is not coming together yet, so we're going to add 2 more tablespoons. That would be 1 tablespoon per recipe. So now we're up to 10 tablespoons. And you want to start off with cold water because you don't want to melt your butter. I'm going to put 2 more. Want to make sure that it can stick together when you put it in your hand, and it's not quite there. Getting closer. Trying to pick up the dry bits and put it in the bulk of it so that it can all get hydrated. Trying to get all this loose flour right here in the mix. So I'm just not really kneading, I'm just smushing it in. very well hydrated. It's perfect. And it's so pretty and yellow because of that Rumiano butter. Oh, it's so beautiful. Alright, now we want to divide this into 4s. You can get your kitchen scale out and weigh it. I'm just going to eyeball it. Alright, that looks pretty good. We're going to form this into a disc. You can see the chunks of butter in there. Oh, it looks so pretty. This is for one pie, this is for another pie, and I'm going to just repeat the steps for the other half. Alright, so I have my 8 pie crust. That's going to make 4 pot pies. I'm not going to worry about putting these in the refrigerator because I'm going to go ahead and get started on the pie filling, and I don't want to have to go through the process of putting them in the refrigerator, let them come to room temperature. I'm just going to leave them here. As long as they sit for a minimum of 30 minutes, like this, they'll be ready to roll. They're probably going to end up sitting here for about an hour. We'll be okay. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the chicken. So I'm going to take the chicken off the bone, the meat off the bone, but we're going to save the skin and the bone. So I have 2 bowls here. 1, 2. This is the same bowl we made our pie crust in, but that's okay. So one of these bowls is going to be for all the bones. The other one's going to be for all the meat. So I'm just going to go through here and chop it up just a bit. And then it's falling off the bones. This is perfect. Alright, while I'm working on this, y'all go ahead and grab you a cup of coffee or a drink of your choice, and I will see you back here as soon as we are done. So that's the meat from 2 whole chickens, and this is the bones. So now we're going to go ahead and get all the other ingredients and get started on making the filling for. And this is everything else we're going to use. I haven't got the right size vacuum seal bags to vacuum seal these, but beans and the peas. I have 2 packs of frozen corn. Got a carrot that was frozen. We're going to put an onion, some potatoes, heavy whipping cream, and cream cheese. I'm going to have my chicken powdered broth here. We're going to chop the onion, peel, and cube the potatoes. Let's get started. Alright, so I ended up doing 11 ounces of peas and 14 ounces of green beans. Alright, let me go put these back into the freezer, and I'll be right back. Let's go ahead and chop an onion up. Save that, I'm just putting it right in with the bones over here. Part of the chicken stock we're going to make in the future. That is one potent onion. Holy moly. This is why I like to having frozen onions at the ready, so I don't have to do this every time. Whew. Holy moly. Alright, let's get the potatoes peeled and chopped up. This is all the white potatoes I have, and I believe these are russet. Maybe one or two Yukons in there. Remember, we do not save our potato peels for our no-cost chicken stock. They're too starchy, and it'll just make your chicken stock cloudy. We don't want that. So whoever has the cheapest potatoes at the time I buy potatoes, it's what I get. I'm not going to have a lot of potatoes, that's for sure. But this is what I have on hand, and this is what I'm using. Let's get these chopped up and put in the bowl. Dicing these pretty small. But dice them however big you want. ready to go ahead and get started on everything. I got the potatoes in here with water, just so they don't oxidize, change colors because of the air. Just breaking some of these that didn't break up very well. Okay, let's move over to the stove. And that is our 2 chicken bones and the onion scraps from today. And it's going to go in the freezer till we need more chicken stock. Alright, so I have an 8-cup measuring cup here, and I have a strainer. I'm going to go ahead and strain this broth out because I'm actually going to use this in the pot pie. Okay, wow, that gave me 8 cups. That is pretty cool. I got the heavy cream and the cream cheese. I do want to make a roux, so I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons of butter. Alright, so I got about 4 tablespoons of flour going in. And I'm going to put about 2 heaping tablespoons of this chicken broth powder. Get all that powder mixed in with the butter. And this is kind of like a condensed soup, you know, the can of condensed soup, pretty much the same thing, but I'm not going to be adding milk. I'm actually going to put heavy cream because I like the way the heavy cream works in the pot pie. And a little bit in at a time. More about salt and pepper because the broth powder has a lot of salt in it. So we're just going to wait till the end. Alright, I think I'm going to start off with about 4 cups. I'm going to go ahead and put in all the vegetables. Frozen carrots are going in. Corn's going in. And the onions are going in. Let's add a little bit more stock. I drained the water out of the potatoes. Potatoes are going in. Alright, we're going to let that cook for a bit, and in the meantime I'm going to do some dishes. So I'm just going to let the vegetables cook in this broth with the powder broth and the liquid broth until the potatoes are done. Once the potatoes are done, then we'll add the heavy cream and the cream cheese, and then we'll add the chicken. Let's hope and pray it will fit into this one pot. If not, I might have to split it up, but that's okay. We'll do that if we have to. So we're just going to let that come up to a simmer, turn it on a medium-low until the potatoes are almost soft. We don't want them completely soft because it will continue cooking in the oven. So we'll let it cook until it's almost soft. And then we'll add all the other ingredients and cook it for just a bit more, and then we'll turn it off. And then once it cools down, then we will go ahead and assemble the pot pies. I do want to give it a taste. It's not bad so far. It's actually pretty good. Alright, we are boiling. Slight simmer of a boil. That is where we want to be. Look at all those beautiful colors in there. Oh, this is going to be so good. I'm going to let that continue to cook. Let's go ahead and taste it. I'm not going to worry about the salt right now, but I do want to add some pepper. And I do want to add some basil. I love basil. Everybody in my family loves basil. Right, it's maybe a half of a teaspoon of basil going in. Alright, let's see if we can get this chicken in there. This is going to be fun. It took all 8 cups of that chicken stock we got from those 2 chickens. They are going to be very, 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 very chickeny, which is a good thing. Alright, let's check those potatoes. They are perfect. I'm going to put half of this cream cheese in each one of those. Get that all mixed in. So this is the heavy cream. I just put it in a measuring cup so I can make sure that the cream that's sitting on top gets distributed between the 2 pots. Alright, so I've got 1 pot over here with approximately half of the mixture. The other pot over here with approximately half of the mixture. Alright, so I'm just going to let this sit. I got it on low. And we'll just let it do its thing until we're ready to assemble our pies. And I'm not going to put a lid on it because I do want it to evaporate just a bit. So we're just going to let it sit right here until it gets thick. Put a little bit of butter, and I just want to smear butter all over this pan, the sides, and the rim. So we got those are ready. I got 2 of the crust. This is going to be for the bottom of both of these pans. You need a very well floured surface because of all that butter in there. Try to keep it in a circle. You can see all the butter in there. Oh, it looks so pretty. Keep it well floured. That's one. Now I'm not stretching it to go into the corners. I'm actually lifting the dough and letting it fall into the corners. Alright, that's our 2 bottoms. Let's go ahead and get our tops for these 2 ready. Get started. Have a little bit of water. Nobody would know the difference. Alrighty, that is one top. And here is one of our pots with our pie filling in there. Oh, we never did taste it, did we? See if it needs any salt. Alright, maybe just a little bit of salt in there. Pepper's good. Alright, let's stir that in. That is a lot of chicken. That is perfect. I love a lot of chicken in my pot pie. How about you? We're just gonna load this thing up. I think that looks pretty good right there. I have some water. Let's go ahead and pick up our top crust. Lay that right on top. We're going to take our finger in the water and run it along the edge. Should have done this before I put the top on it, but that's okay. We got this. Smush that down, top and the bottom. Get it bonded together. And we're going to cut the edge about a 1/2 inch from the side of the pan. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to see this. We're going to take this and fold it under. And now you can make your pretty little crepes if you want. I just take my fingers. I have 2 fingers and 1 finger, and I'm just pushing the dough in between, just like that. Now we're going to cut 4 slits right in the top. And that's one pie. Alright, let's smush it down. Let's put 4 slits in it. Alright, I have it on a large baking sheet with aluminum foil just to help to catch any of the drips if it does decide to drip. Alright, in the oven, I'm thinking that's going to bake for about an hour. And I will let you know how long that takes. I'll keep track of the time and let you know. I want to go ahead and put some butter in these aluminum pans. And we're going to make sure we get the sides also. Put a liberal amount of flour on our board, just like we did before. On our rolling pin, and we're going to start rolling these out. And I did stick these in the refrigerator for a bit because they were getting too soft, but that's okay. We'll get it all out. We'll get it flattened. Now when you're putting food in your freezer, you don't need to spend one whole day in the kitchen making all the things for the freezer. You can actually just double or triple a recipe that you're having for dinner that night, such as we're having chicken pot pie, and then I'm planning on doubling it, tripling it, quadrupling it, and stick the rest in the freezer for a future date. And I do that with lasagna also, and when I make homemade ravioli, because all the equipment is out, kitchen's already a mess for making one. I might as well just go ahead and make more than one. Just trying to get it down in the corners of this cake pan without stretching the dough. Okay, that is one. This is the last one. Now we're going to go ahead and fill this pie crust up. I think I'm be shy with the filling. I have that much left. We'll see what we can do with that. Again, we're going to take some water on our fingers, go along this edge to make a glue. Push it down on top where we have the water on the bottom. We're going to smush that together. Scissors, we're going to cut about a 1/2 inch from the edge. Now the cake pans do not have a rim around it like the pie plate, but that's okay, we can work with that. I'm folding it under, both the top and the bottom crust together. Just folding it under, making a little lip right here. Now we're going to do 2 fingers and 1 finger and push it down in there to make the scalloped edge right here. Put 4 holes. You can use a knife. I just have the scissors here dirty already, so I'm just going to use the scissors. Now you can freeze it like this. Take it out a day or 2 before you want to cook it. Put it in the refrigerator. Let it come to temperature of the refrigerator. Then you can bake it. But you want the interior thawed before you start baking it. I'm actually doing something new this time. I'm actually going to put this in the oven and cook it fully till the crust is flaky and crispy. Then I'm going to let it cool off, and then I'm going to freeze it. That way heating it up won't take as long. Alright, so there's our 2 freezer hot pies. The ones that I cooked earlier took an 1.5 hours. So I'm going to log the time down and see how long this takes. I do have right much pie crust here, so I think I am going to make some mini ones in this large or jumbo muffin pan. Let's have some butter. I'm going to go ahead and butter all these up because I have some pie crust left and I have some filling left, so I might as well utilize it. Alright, let's see if we can form this into a ball and get this rolled out and cut. Alrighty. Don't know what I'm doing here, but we're going to work with it anyway. Maybe I can get 3 out of this. We'll see. You know what I might do? I just might make them topless. Just put a crust in the bottom, fill them up, and just leave them topless. What do you think? Alright, I have a little bit left. Can we make the 6th one? Let's see if we can. Okay, we did it. Maybe I'll fold these over just to contain them. What do you, that looks like a good idea, huh? That looks like a really good idea. So they're partially top, but not all the way top. That is perfect. Aren't they cute? Alright, so I'm going to stick these in the oven and I'll let you know how long these took. So this is the chicken pot pie we ended up eating for dinner. I just thought I'd show you. It's nice and thick and it's set perfect. We're loving it. This is all that's left out of one. One I have in the freezer, trying to freeze it before I wrap it up and put it away, but I will bring you along. But you can see the crust. Oh, so good. Sorry, it's the next day and I didn't finish this video out yesterday, but I am finishing it today. So we made 2 whole chickens and we turned those into pot pies. That with 2 in this glass pie pan. One we had for dinner the night I made it, and the other I have wrapped up in saran wrap and put in the freezer. And we bought these aluminum pie pans, and I got 2 of these. One I gave to my daughter so her and her family could enjoy a pot pie during the week, and the other one I have frozen. Then we have these 6 personal pot pies that we put the leftovers of the crust and the filling in the muffin tin. And so as for the pot pies, what I'll do is I'll take these out of the freezer 2 nights before I want to have them for dinner. Put them in the refrigerator, let them thaw, put them in the oven, warm them up till the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees, because we do have dark and light meat chicken in here. We want to get it up to temperature. It is fully cooked. We just need to warm it up. And as for these, we'll do the same thing, except we'll take them out the night before and put them in the refrigerator and heat them up in the microwave or the oven for the kids. The larger ones took an hour and a half to cook the day we made it, and this took 1 hour to cook. But we have 2 whole pot pies and 6 handheld pot pies for the grandkids in our freezer anytime we need to make a pot pie. What I do when I make casserole type dishes such as pot pie, lasagna, or ravioli, I always make 2 or more dishes so I can wrap them up, put them in the freezer, and I can have that at a later time. It takes a little bit more time to roll out the dough for 4 pot pies than it does for 1, but the filling takes the same amount of time. I'm cooking a chicken anyway. I'm making the sauce anyway. Might as well make extra so I can put it in the freezer. So I just want to say thank you for spending the day with me while we made some freezer meals and enjoyed a delicious pie. And until next time, y'all have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye, friends. Thank you very much.